Unsalted TV. We have had a very interesting journey ever since, and I think today is not going to be an exception. I am your co-host Claudia, and
I am your host Ayi. Okay, for today, last month, the month of May, was the month for the women. But in this month, having young men, not mothers like the other time. This time they're not fathers yet. Okay, so for this time, we have our young brothers. Some of them can even be fathers with us now. We're going to talk about being a man. Yeah, so I'll allow them to introduce themselves. So you are?
I'm the Prophet.
I'm also Akwesi from Pong.
My name is Slim. I'm an administrator and a trainee pastor at Family Chapel International.
I'm Kofi Abao Jr.
You are what?
I do my own stuff.
Yeah,
I'm a member of Family Chapel International. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So we are talking about being a man, but we'll not make it too, I don't know how to put it, too French, like the mother's own. This I'm going to put a twist to it.
Okay.
So the first question we will ask is, who is a man? Anyone can answer. Who is a man?
I think the first most important you have to realize about a man is that a man is a male adult. That's the basic definition for a man. He has to be a male and has to be an adult. In our world whereby there are so many transgender, it has to be stated that it's a male who is an adult.
Most deaf. Alright, so there are stuff you would have to find in a man, I mean physically, genetically, because there are women who now call themselves men.
Yeah.
Because of it. So there are things you have to see. I mean, and you have to be an adult too. And the other side of it too is that, I mean, there are things that go with being identified as a man. It's not basically being a male and an adult. And so there are times where you see a male adult behave and they say, no, you are not a man. You are behaving like a boy. Right, so I think that maturity also plays a key role.
great. Wow, how does it feel like being a man?
It feels good, and it feels, I would say it feels exactly like how you feel your womanhood. Okay, if I was a woman, I'm pretty sure I feel the same as I am a man right now. So it feels good for me. It feels good, and I think it is also good just as.
Okay. Anybody wants to express how they feel like being a man?
Well, I think biblically, men are form of exalted even in the Bible. Men are placed on a superior pedestal than women. So it always feels good to be a man, even in our home. When you are younger than your older sister, sometimes your father tends to depend more on you than the older sister. So being a man, I think, is pretty good.
Makes you feel like a superhuman.
Not necessarily, but men are noted to be strong and everything.
Yeah.
You know, when there's a TV pole that needs to be fixed, they will call on a man. When there's a car to be washed, they'll call on a man. So it feels good to be a man. You realize that you're always in charge of every situation.
And even in times of danger, they say bear man brown.
So that's good. Talking about the superiority, I like that. So I want to know, have you ever felt you're not man enough?
Never.
You always feel you are up to the standard of a man.
Everything that is required of a man, I've been up to it. So I've never felt like
Not a
I'm not man
thing.
enough. No.
Well, I have. That's the truth. I have. The first time I saw a big snake, I felt like I'm not a man.
I think some of these things, it's probably because of the emphasis society has placed on manhood. I mean, a man is supposed to kill a snake, but there are men who genuinely are fearful of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is it so wrong to be fearful of a snake? No, it's not. You get it? So, I mean, the society tells you that this is what you are supposed to do as a man. If you are not able to do that, it makes you feel less of a man. But I haven't seen it from that angle, so that's probably why I've never felt.
So in that circumstance, in that particular time, when you see a big snake that you, instead of trying to kill it, you run away from it, you feel less of a man.
Yes.
Because let's say you are with your sisters, and they keep shouting at the hall that a snake has entered your hall, and you are running with them, in that moment you have to feel less of a man, because you're expected to take charge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily say so. I think that what you would see to be less of something, which in this case is a man, I would just see it's a downturn, or it's a moment where you get low on that.
And in that loneliness, that's when you feel like less of a man. It
doesn't
doesn't mean you're not a man.
No, it doesn't mean
You feel it.
It's like being a driver.
The feeling. Yeah.
There was a time I was seated here and there was this big cattle that I don't know where the cattle was going. When I realized I was running away, and Joe was like, "Hey, why you guys a massa? Me near that you see?" Then I realized, hey, I'm supposed to be, you know, that particular time. No, I felt like, you see, sometimes the feeling, sometimes, you know, a man is supposed to face.
It's actually worse when you're with women and you're expected to do better.
Yeah.
You're expected to come out and face the fear and you're also afraid.
So sometimes what you do when, let's say, there's a circumstance, your reaction, your action towards certain things makes you feel like, hey, Charlie, this thing.
All right, so it has to do. I think it has to do with stuff that are, say, etched into our minds. I mean, from childhood, you are told that men are supposed to be brave. When you go to places, men are treated some way. When they are kids, I remember GOT, Game of Thrones, there's this guy, Greywell. He said that where he comes from, what they do is anything that you fear, they put you to it. If you are afraid of dogs, they put you in a cave with dogs. If you are afraid of water, they put you in the sea. If you are able to swim back, you overcome your fears. I mean, it's like that. It's always been like that. But I haven't kind of placed so much emphasis on my fear. So I never feel less of a man, even if I fear anything. I'm not saying I don't fear anything.
You just feel like I
feel like I'm just afraid. And it takes nothing from my manhood.
So do men get insecure sometimes? Do you get insecure sometimes? Maybe, I don't know, maybe in your relationship, in your
life.
Do you feel insecure sometimes? Maybe in your finances, you feel like, oh, maybe the way your finances are going, you're not even ready. You don't even think you'll be able to get married anytime soon.
Well, yes, it happens like that. For some of us who decided that we are not going to join the corporate world, but we'll go into ministry. You realize that after school, you're done with service, you need to get money, prepare. You know, the natural order, the status quo, get married. You are with this lady, maybe you are in the same level with her. She started work, she's making money, and you are not. You can't even take her on a date. Sometimes you realize, oh, she's going out. Oh, I have a friend. The friend is taking me out. No, actually, you can't take the person out. For that, in that point, you might feel insecure that actually I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. So it's possible.
Yeah. So generally, I've kind of come to accept that insecurity stems from lack of confidence and self-doubt. Because a lot of times, even in relationships, the only time you feel insecure is when you are probably, or a partner is probably giving you too much room for doubt. So you feel like someone might probably take her away. So you feel like, I'm not safe. Then when you are safe, you are confident. So I think that we are in a society where we amplify the negatives. And you realize that, I saw this thing not too long ago. You realize that when you go for your exam papers, the first thing you look out for are the things you got wrong. Even if you had 90%, you look out for the 10 you got wrong. We are in a society where it's always been like that, Charlie. You are not doing this right. We don't amplify the rights. It's always about the wrongs. And so our focus and mentality is almost always on the things we are not getting right. And so when we are not confident in that regard, we feel insecure. It can come through relationships, through work, career, everything. When you know what you are about, imagine when you are on a team and you are the star player, and we are talking about transfer season. There is nothing like insecurity on your part about being sold. Because you know this is me. I carry this team. There is no way I'm going to be sold. But there are players that feel like, Charlie, transfer season is coming. That kind of thing,
You are secured, but you'll be like Ronaldo. I can't realize I'm sold you.
You knew about that.
Okay, so as talking about the society, and I know society puts much pressure on men. Because if a woman should cry right now, it's nothing. If a man should cry, so do men ever get vulnerable? Do you ever express your emotions? Can you just cry out? Like women can do it in public, but do you ever get vulnerable?
Yes.
We get vulnerable. But okay, for me, I've been vulnerable for got to a point based on many losses that I have experienced, it got to me. I wanted to follow the norm, the society, what the society says. No man should cry.
Amen.
Yeah. But then I was like, if I don't, my mental health will not. Everybody has a way of expressing their emotions, and if you don't express your grief, it will go to your mind and really hurt you.
Yeah.
And if you don't deal with that, you will be sick. And I had to go through that.
Okay.
I had to cry sometimes. I had to talk to people. My man so and complaining, and go for. And most people, whenever they are going through something, it's just in their heads. And I'm glad for friends that I had and those who prayed with me and stuff like that. So very good through stuff.
And that's the most difficult part. It's like you really want to do the thing, but what is the society going to say?
Yeah.
What are you going to say? I lost the person who actually trained me growing up was my mother. I had two mothers, I always say. And when she died, I was far away in essence. I didn't want to, after the cry, I didn't want to cry. But the more I sat alone and think about it, I had to. It's like you can't force it. I cried. And even when at the funeral service in the church, my brother couldn't read the autobiography. Any person that took over to read couldn't.
Yeah.
My senior brother did, the second one did, everyone, so the pastor had to stop the whole thing. And that's men. So you try as much as possible to cry. During the whole time when we came home, none of us cried. We were all talking. The only thing is that nobody wanted us to sleep in a room. But we all try to act tough. Men always try to do that. Even when we break, our relationships break and everything, Charlie, no matter what, when you see your ex, you have to
my next question. What's the rationale behind acting tough, not showing your emotions? What's the reason?
I feel, as we've all said earlier, because of what society expects of men, it is believed that men are supposed to be there for, let's say, women. So if, let's say, there is a situation that demands that everybody cries, if I, the man, if I cry, how do I comfort the woman?
Okay.
So I would have to hide my emotions and then try to comfort the lady. But deep within, I might be dying slowly, because there are certain things, it really gets to us that in public we can't shed our tears.
So when you go to your room, you've
We
been
do.
crying.
We do.
When your girlfriend wake up with you, you've been crying in your room.
They wake up
It
depends. This whole thing of vulnerability is triggered by emotions. I mean, these are stuff we can't do without as far as we are human beings. I think men are better at covering their weakness more than women. So it makes it look like men are not vulnerable. Everybody is vulnerable in one way or the other. Okay. But we kind of hide ours, just like Akwesi said, because we are supposed to stand tall, even in the midst of the storm. So what do? You have to make it look like everything will be alright. Yeah. There are times where you tell somebody, Charlie, a bit far. But the logic will tell you what you are saying is like, oh, can be a deal. There is no faith back in it, but you just have to say it. So men do cry. Me, I have cried publicly a lot of times, but most of them are trivial stuff. I've cried a lot more in church than I've cried outside. My father is supposed to be buried today, but because of the COVID-19 and ban on social gatherings, we couldn't do it. So I'm seated here today, even when my father is out there in the cold. But I think since my father died, the only time I shed tears was I had a dream. I saw him in a dream. I was crying in a dream, and the thing came out. I woke up and I was crying like that. But I've seen his body at the mortuary. Nothing happened. My sisters were like, I felt like, hey, Nadine to me, I'm supposed to cry. I think I'm supposed to cry. This is somebody who was like a superhero. I think I'm supposed, but it's not like I'm not sad. I'm sad, but But I've cried over trivial stuff. I've come to church where, Tonyum, and I feel like, me hair baby, and I'm like, rather than why me.
He has even fake cried at a wedding.
Sometimes you can't control those emotions. I remember, as he was saying, when we went for our father's 1 week, I think he wanted to talk to me, but when he realized I was crying.
You cried?
Yes, because I looked at my mom and I couldn't control.
Wow.
And I don't know whether he was thinking if he should look at me, he also joined me in tears. And so he just turned away, and then when I was okay, then he came to, talk to me about whatever he wanted to discuss with me. I think one of the reasons we also try to hide these things is that you realize Bible will make you understand that women are the weaker vessels. So if Bible says that, then it tells you that men are supposed to be stronger. So if Bible expects us to be more stronger, then I don't think we have that to.
But I don't think a man has ever wailed before.
A lot of them. I'm public thing.
Wailing. I think I've seen it on that radio man. There's this video of a man crying because the wife cheated on.
Wailing. I've seen one before. We were in university. That's like some 10 years back. There's this friend of mine who was like a super player. I mean, this is somebody you go to when you are talking about girls. But I saw him one time and he was just crying.
Wow.
Wailing. He was mentioning the girl's name. What else could have caused that heartbreak?
And then
To the extent that he even throws away his phone and all that. It's sometimes.
Hate track too.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't just. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's get into the Bible. So you are all Christians.
Yeah, so for
Especially the pastor, your trainee pastors. We want to know, how is it like being a Christian man?
I think being a Christian man is much more a bit difficult than just being a normal man. Let's say a man of the world, because one, a Christian man, immediately if someone is classified as a man, I think the basis for seeing someone as a Christian man is that one, a man has to know his purpose. The moment you know your purpose, you can't be a Christian man and not know your purpose. Then maybe you're still a Christian boy, let's say. Once you are classified as a Christian man, one, I think the first thing you need to have a purpose. And that purpose brings a lot of burden on you. And that's what makes a Christian man being difficult. You can't, you have to be a leader all of a sudden. You have to, that God has made you a head of the house. Even before you are married, He has made you a head of the house. So that there's that pressure already with you. A Christian man has to not just please his God, but he has to be there for the society. You have to be different from every other man. So yes, I think being a Christian man is a bit difficult, but because of the grace that we always talk about, it's always because grace is always sufficient for us. The Bible says that by strength shall no man prevail, but the grace of God is sufficient for thee. The sufficiency of God's grace is what makes a Christian man better. But it's a very difficult thing.
What my Slim just said is very true. You realize that being a Christian man is not something that is that easy. You understand? When you look at the life of Abraham in the book of Genesis chapter 18, when you read from verse 17 through to 19, God was saying that should he hide anything from Abraham? After that he said, for he will command all his household. So that is what is expected of a Christian man. That God expects that you command all your household to follow after his statutes. So one of the things that God expects from a Christian man is where, you see, there are people that, especially when you are a Christian man and then your children are going wayward, you sometimes the kind of things you will hear. So God knew that Abraham would definitely command his house. So that is one of the things that I believe that God expects from us. So it's not just an easy responsibility. Like Slim said, you become a leader all of a sudden. And a leader leads where? The purpose that you have, lead your people to it. And that is to God. So I think it's one of the biggest responsibility that every man or every Christian person or man has to. So it's not easy.
But I believe that's where God wants every man to be. That's the level God wants every man to be. The Bible says that even when we're yet sinners, Christ died for us. He loved us. God is looking forward to a level whereby men will be saved. So we are talking about it not being easy and all that, but that is where God wants everyone to be. That means everybody has the ability to be there to be a good Christian man.
Okay. So how do you perceive fatherhood? Right now you are not yet fathers, like father.
Biological. I think I'm the father.
So
I'm fathering kids.
oh, I see. Okay, so how do you perceive fatherhood? as of now, what's the mental picture of fatherhood to you?
I like to think of fatherhood as more critical than marriage.
Okay.
I say this because I think that fatherhood is like that food that when you take a bite, you don't let go. You can't give up. You hold on till the very end.
Okay.
You can get married and divorce, but when you are a father, you don't leave your kid. And there's this thing about marriage, it takes two to tango. It has to be a mutual agreement. You see this lady, you want to marry the lady should also agree before you get together. But your kid was never consulted. Your kid was never consulted. You brought the kid out into the world without his consent. Who did not ban the also option? So I think fatherhood is something that can't be joked with. It takes everything out of you. It's a huge responsibility. Yeah.
I also think it's one of the best gifts ever, like in this world. Like from the baby's perspective, I see someone who is bigger than me, and he's leading me through life.
A hero.
A hero. And then from the father's perspective, I see my miniature, someone who I brought forth, that I'm leading through life. And it is interesting. It is fun, not just fun. Sometimes it's hectic, but then through it all, through it all, you know that it is just one of the best gifts in this world. That's how
I think every one of us, whether you are male or female, you actually appreciate your parents when you are getting to that level of fatherhood. Then you realize that Charlie, we could have made it a bit easier. Because of the responsibility, it never leaves.
Because sometimes they look like superhumans. You ask for anything and it looks like Harry Potter. You don't know how the thing came about. We just know my bisawi and my father got it for me. And so when you get to that level where you have to go through what they went through, you kind of understand a lot of things better. Like, wow.
I think being a Christian man makes it fun too. Like you're all looking forward to the whole thing. Not because when it comes to Christ, let's say even if your father wasn't very good to you, all this won't heals up. So even if you have gone through that experience, because of the Christianity, because of our faith and our belief, because of the love God has shown to us, all of us are looking forward to it. Whether we got everything our father wanted to do or not, Christianity makes you look forward to fatherhood. You forgive, you get over the pain, the wounds, and you're just looking forward to being better.
Okay. So you've spoken so much about fatherhood. So what kind of father do you want to be? You can just say a few words. Like, I want to be a dope dad. I want to be like what kind of father do you want to be?
I just want to be the best dad.
Oh, what about you?
I also want to be the best father because as we were growing up, there were so many things maybe we have seen that didn't go well with us. So what we are trying to do is that we become better of certain things that we saw as mistakes with our parents. We do not want to repeat them in our bringing up our children. So that is one of the things, a father that I want to become, to have a vibe with my children, And as they told me something that he saw something on a certain lady's status where they were making a video, and then one of the daughters said, "Damn it, and that kind of vibe, I said, "Come see me, say I'm drilling on. I want to help you." I want to, that is the kind of father. I want to.
I think I want to be a father that can lead my children to be the best of themselves. One thing I learned from my dad is that, irrespective of whether he has or not, my dad has never made a decision for us or chose anything for us. The school you want to attend, from primary to university, every one of us, my siblings, we chose ourselves. We made every decision. We consult him. He says, "These are the options. What do you want? This is what you get from this. This is what you get from it." And I've come this far. Every day when I look back, I'm like, what this man really did, we can't blame him. He's done his best and he's never forced anything on us. So I just want to be that father that his kids will be proud of too. Once you're proud of your kids, they should be proud of you too. So that's what I want to be. I want to be a father that my children will grow up and tell other people that this is my father and he did his best to make us who we are.
So I feel like men talk plenty. So unfortunately, I'm the last person. They kind of said everything I wanted to say, but in short, I would just want to be a father, like I just want to be all that my kids would want in a man, in a father, like that's it.
Okay, so this is my last question to you guys. When you look into the Bible, which Bible character, I mean male Bible character, would you want to be like? When you mention the character, then just tell me one particular thing you like about that character and why you have chosen that character.
I think I would like to go first.
Okay.
Before someone does.
Someone
You
does.
can still say your own perspective.
I'd probably say the same.
I think I think throughout the Bible, as I've read a bit of it, the one person I really want to be like is Joshua. Maybe not because of my name, the namesake alone, but this is a young guy who was just 7, never expecting to take over. Then the whole nation's problem is dumped on him in one day, and God says that do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do not be afraid, do this, do this. And the Bible says that he was one of the people. As long as he led the Israelites, they did the right thing. They did the right thing. And I read the book of Joshua and I realized that this is a successful man. He tells them, he says, for as long as he is alive, he and his family, they are going to serve the Lord. And you realize the battles he won throughout the Bible and everything. Even in his old age, God tells him that you haven't accomplished enough, you know. And he's one character. He had to be a leader one day out of nothing. He had served, and he had to become a leader of a great nation one day. So I really like him. When I read, I really like it.
So
You go.
I think I align myself more with Joseph. I like the fact that through adversity, throughout all the storms, he ended up right where he's supposed to be. I see a story of a young man who was kind of pushed into his destiny by enemies, supposed enemies. I mean, it kind of deepened my conviction on the fact that all things work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose. I mean, this is a man who, after ending up in Potiphar's house, had the chance to do bad and have everything he wanted, but he still stuck with what God wants from us. And eventually, he had a bigger glory. So this is who I want to be.
I would want to say I've got so many characters that I might, but this time I want to talk about the King David. And the reason is that this is a man that God said that this person would accomplish or do all that is in my heart. For God to say such a thing about a person, then it tells you that he was really focused on the things of God. So it's something that I keep thinking about, that Father, one of the things that we need from help us accomplish that which you have for us, that which you want us to do. So this is the testimony of God about David. So I look at him and I'm like, wow, this is something that I really want to do. Because I don't ever want to get to a stage in life where I'll look back and feel like, I couldn't do much for God. So,
well, I'd love to go with Abraham. I love money, so the guy was rich. he was thinking rich. Like if, let's say, back in the day, their mode of transportation was mainly horses, camels, and he had thousands of them. Now our mode of transportation is like cars and stuff. So and the best of the things were camels, right? So and right now I think the best of cars we have right now is Benz. If I have like 1,000 Benz, it's like really bad. And
like that.
Not that he was just rich, he was also a righteous person. So I would love to do correct business with a correct God to be correctly successful.
Wow. Okay, this is the last one for today. So what are some of the phrases or the things you hear about men that puts you off?
I think one of them is when especially a lady says all men are the same.
Oh, okay.
Why all men are the same? Because you've not encountered all men. So how do you say all men are the same? Sometimes like, these ladies, what is wrong with them? You understand? And so it's one of the things that
That's very.
I think I agree with you.
What else? What else?
I think that phrase is it's that bad. Me normally when I hear that, I put the question back to you.
Yeah.
Are all women the same?
Yeah.
You think you are different because unimo,
Yeah.
and you know you do the good things. And I'm like, there are lots of people out there like yourself. Just like there are lots of men out there like the people unlike the people you met.
Yeah.
So I kind of give you the impression that as much as you think you are different, there are lots of different men out there. So you have just been unlucky not to have met one.
Yeah. Well, I'll just say, maybe from where you ended, you would say all men are the same. I wouldn't say so. I would just say you didn't meet the right person. It's not love which hurts. It's the wrong person who hurts you. So why won't you carry the love to a right person who will make you happy?
Instead of saying all men are the same.
Yeah. So just that thing is it's crazy.
Well, mine is not a saying. It's just an expectation. Our world expects men to do everything for a woman. I think that in a world whereby we are fighting for equality
And feminism.
the women should start accepting that everything is not supposed to be done by a man. So mine is not a saying. It's actually more of an expectation. Women are battling men on every field, education, everywhere with politics, sports. They are looking for equal pay now in sports. So now the women should understand that when it comes to expenses too.
Wow, thank you very much for coming, Salty.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm very
for having us.
grateful. Yeah, okay. So that is it for today. Okay, so the ladies, you heard the men. All men are not the same. Yeah, we hope you learned a lot from them. Even though it was a very fun,
Interesting.
yeah, they said a lot of things that was very laudable. So all men are not the same. And don't expect too much from men. They are humans like us. We are all created by one God. And then if a man is crying or he's vulnerable, just allow him. Just allow him. And we are grateful for staying and watching. So we want to tell you to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. This has been your Relatable Christian Talk Show, Salty TV. Bye.